Hey fans, viewers, and listeners, welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Inside Podcast. I'm your co-host for today, Raine Cruz, also known as Ringside Raine, ring announcer for Up Next Fighting. And with me, as always, is Timmy B. Before we get started, please take a moment to follow and subscribe to us, and also tell your friends about Fight Inside Podcast. Today, we will talk to the hottest new bantamweight in the UFC, discuss my night at Up Next Fighting, and President Sean Strickland, and a whole lot more. So, what are we waiting for? Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Inside Podcast.
Internet has been so bad lately, Raine. I don't know if there was a lag there or not. I apologize to everybody. I've been yelling at my internet subscriber for the whole last week. Okay. Our guest today put on a show-stopping performance in Shanghai just a few weeks ago with a first-round TKO stoppage that put the bantamweight division on notice. Now he is 9-3 in his pro career. This Missouri native is looking to make a run to the title. And here at the Fight Inside Podcast, we know who to back. This is the man that needs to be on your radar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podcast,
Garrett Armfield.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me.
There he is, Mr. Garrett Armfield. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. Couldn't be better.
Good. So before we started the podcast, I got introduced to your new kitten, Bear.
Yeah.
And then, which hopefully we will see her at some point. But when you were messing around with your camera, it looked like there was something that said Bear Cave in your background.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, I made him a little a cat house.
Look.
With the, yeah.
Look at that.
It's like in the process of it. Yeah, it's so cool, actually. I don't know how she feels about it yet, but
no, yeah. Is this
You
your
can mess
first?
with her.
Is this your first cat, Garrett?
Yeah, it is my first cat. I was planning on getting a dog, but then I'm in an apartment, and honestly, like I feel like having a dog in an apartment is really hard.
Yeah. Now I will teach you. I will teach you something as a cat owner myself. I've had cats for a long time. Anything that you buy them, they will never touch, and it's the stuff that you don't want them to play with that will be their favorite. So.
Oh yeah, no. I got all these cardboard boxes that I'm playing with. Yeah.
Nice.
Nonstop. I'm like, okay, whatever. At least you're occupied.
Yeah. Good. Now, Garrett, congratulations on your fantastic win. Obviously, incredible in Shanghai. How was it there, man? We had so many fan questions asking about the environment in Shanghai and about like the crowd there and how incredible it was. What were you feeling there in Shanghai?
Yeah, so actually this one was in Singapore, not Shanghai.
Oh, sorry, Singapore.
Yeah,
did I write it wrong too? Did I say it wrong?
Shanghai's not until December, I'm pretty sure. I think they're going to China in December.
Oh,
but I was in Singapore, and Singapore was really cool. I actually went down like 3 days earlier than we were supposed to be there, so I was there for a total of 10 days. And we ended up getting a hotel just in the city. And so I got to spend like 3 or 4 days just kind of going through the city with one of my good friends, Evan Elder. He's in the UFC. He's a UFC lightweight. Super cool dude. It's like a super high-tech city, and everything's really new. Like there's no cars that are older than 5 years old,
Nice.
which is really cool. Everything's like up to date, super clean, no homelessness, no trash. Just like the only like trade-off for that is that there's like cameras everywhere. So pretty much like you're like on facial recognition as soon as you like go through customs, they like take a picture of your face.
Yeah.
Wow.
And pretty much anywhere you go, you're being like watched. And so we were just like on our best behavior, and we just had a good time because like I don't want to get stuck in a Singapore jail cell. Hell no.
No. Not again, Garrett. Not again.
Oh, not again. Here's my cat, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. Say hi.
Oh my goodness. If you're only listening to this podcast on audio, you better turn it on video quick so you can see Bear there. That was beautiful. Yeah.
No, Singapore was awesome. I think the biggest difficulty was finding correct food to eat because the UFC does give us meals, but they don't give us meals until Tuesday of fight week, and I got there Saturday night.
Right.
And so that was hard finding like the street food and kind of going through and like finding food that I could just like eat that didn't have any sauce or like anything on it that I wasn't familiar with.
Right.
So it was a great experience. It was really awesome. Everybody there was really nice, and also everybody spoke like 4 different languages. So it was either like English, English, Malay, Mandarin, or I think it was one other one, but
Maybe
so
Cantonese, maybe. Yeah.
something I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it was very easy to get around and see the city.
Nice.
Monday we went to the Fighter Hotel, and the Fighter Hotel was like very resort like, and so it didn't really feel like you're in another country. It just kind of felt like you're just on a resort somewhere. So that was like, it was so cool, and like it was really nice. It just, I like being in the city. Like the city was a great experience. But yeah, so Singapore was a great. It was awesome.
It's incredible. Now you've experienced such a massive crowd in Singapore. Like it seemed like a very hyped up crowd. Of course, by the main event, it was insane. But
Yeah.
it seemed like an amazing crowd. So Garrett, one rule of coming on the Fight Insight podcast is we demand that you never fight Apex again. Do you understand?
That I what?
That you never fight the UFC Apex again. I only want you in big crowds.
That'd be cool. I would like to as well. I think I did a decent job of like interacting with the crowd. That hopefully they'll book me for like stadium shows again.
That's the thing. You're such a showstopper. Your fight style is exciting. You put on great fights, great shows, and then you're great on the mic. You can't be talking to 12 guys in the Apex. Like
No, it's completely different. Like at that point, you kind of just gotta gear it towards like the people you're talking to at home. Kind of just like look more into the camera, I guess, at that point. But no, I just had fun being there, and like I was just trying to take like every moment and kind of like truly capitalize on every part. Like even if like it just like being extra on the mic or being extra like during the weigh-in, just doing everything I possibly could, because I really only have like one shot to be able to kind of show everybody like who I am, to be like, oh yeah, let's get this guy, like let's build this guy up, you know. So I really took advantage of that, and I tried to. And it's crazy because like in general, I am like I'm one of those people that like I'll talk to people I have to talk to, but like on the like I just like to be by myself, honestly, mostly. I'm more like introverted, but I can be extroverted. And so like even when I was there at the event, like I just like make an effort to go around and talk to every single person that is wearing a UFC shirt. Just try to get to know everybody, because it's the same people that work every single event. And so it was good like networking with everybody and just like trying to like put forth an effort to be as exciting as I can be and try to be interactive and like make the UFC remember who I am, so that whenever there's a big card and they need somebody on the preliminaries for now, then they'll call Garrett Armfield.
That's true. Damn straight, man. That's exactly right. And my good friend here, ringside Raine Cruz, she just announced this weekend at Up Next Fighting in California. She's their ring announcer. So ringside Raine, that is good advice to you too, right? Like make all the connections you can, get to know those people, because it's a family, right? These organizations are family.
It's the exact same people that work the entire events, and like I've seen them before, and like one guy remembered my name, and I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, we're at these every single time, so it doesn't change. Cool. No,
it's good. Garrett, I did want to ask you, what's the coolest thing about Garrett Armfield that people don't know?
Oh, the coolest thing. Oh man. I'm a bartender, so that's pretty cool, I guess. I still bartend. Bartend at like an event center called Chicken and Pickle. So that's what I do during the Chicken and Pickle, right? That's what I do during the week. And like on the weekends, whatever, like 3 or 4 shifts a week. That I'm the youngest of 5 kids. Actually, everybody in my family, including my parents, we all did karate growing up, because like karate was big in the 90s and early 2000s. We actually all got our black belts through karate. And so I did that, and then I did kickboxing with my older brother and my older sister, the ones that are closest in age. We all did kickboxing together, and like my dad would like take us around like Missouri in the Midwest and just like go to little smoker shows and like fighting in crowds of cigarette smoke and whatnot at like 8 years old.
So, why not? Back in the 90s, that was totally legitimate. That's fine.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I didn't like. There's like other people that have other interests because they did other sports. But I've just always done boxing, kickboxing, karate, all of that stuff. And so that's like my entire life. So, I mean, that's like the interesting about it, is that I just have so many stories ever since I was like 8 years old, 7 years old, putting on my first pair of boxing gloves, and to this point now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's what makes you such a gentleman, though. or part of probably what makes you such a gentleman, because you've been in martial arts your whole life growing up, right? And that's what a lot of people, they see, right? When they put their kids in, they get that level of respect and stuff like that. I was just talking to a coworker that's trying to find a good place for their kid. And we were like, well, yeah, you got to find a place where the instructor or the coach or the sensei or whatever is, disciplined, right? Like that's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And you, I don't know. It's like, for example, I've never been in a street fight outside. I've never been in a fight outside of fighting. Except one time I was like I was a bouncer at a bar and I had to punch some dude. But other than that, I've never been in a street fight. And so like, it's like a lot of things you see with kids is that like kids that are in martial arts, like they just don't ever really need to get into conflict. They don't need to feel like to prove themselves, especially like from a young age, And it's like really important because like, I guarantee there's some gym owners out there where you can buy your belt, like in jiu-jitsu, where like, it's like a $400 fee to level up. Well, I'm going to pay $600 level me up quicker. Like that is something that does happen.
Yeah.
And like I train at Marathon MMA where like it takes a long time to level up there, which is important. And like, I don't know, just all the kids is just like, it's like a confidence builder. Make them earn it. Like, and not only that, but like in turn, like they try harder in school. They just become better kids, to be honest. Like, it sounds terrible as a say, but kids nowadays kind of suck. Like, they kind of like boss around their parents. They tell their parents what to do. They have a victim mentality, all these different things that how a lot of us weren't raised.
Yeah.
It seems like a new generation thing. So I think martial arts kind of brings that. Like, honestly, it's like, for example, like I was scared of my parents, which like how everybody should be. I was scared of my parents. I was scared of my instructor. I didn't know how to talk to my instructor because it was always yes sir, no sir. That was it. That was the most of the conversation we had. And so I think that's important I think kids should fear, not people, but they should fear like authoritative figures. They should fear that. Like it's a respect thing,
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Garrett, my first martial arts instructor, I swear to God, I've said this before on the podcast, so you've probably heard it since you're a frequent listener. But my my first instructor, I swear to God, it was the bad guy from Karate Kid, like John Kreese. He looked identical to that dude, and anytime you did something wrong, Raine, he would come over, pressure point you in the neck, and you'd be on the ground like begging for mercy.
Wow.
Like he was hardcore.
Yeah.
But he was hardcore. But I respected it, and I kept going back because you're like it's a weird sense of you're like, yeah, but this is teaching me discipline. Even as a young kid, I knew that that's something that was good for me. It was very strange.
Or like you're more afraid to not go back. Like you're more afraid.
He's gonna come to my house at night, Garrett. I don't know what this guy's gonna do.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, he's gonna know. He's gonna know somehow.
Yeah,
I do see him. Like that was
then he's gonna
like,
kill him.
If I ever got detention in school or got in trouble at school, I wasn't afraid of the discipline from my parents. It was the discipline that I was gonna get from my boxing coaches and my karate instructor.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Like my parents would be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna tell. His name was Mr. Smillers. He's passed now, unfortunately, but they would be like, well, we're gonna tell Mr. Smillers, and you're gonna have to deal with it there. And that was way worse than whatever my parents could punish me with.
Yeah, for sure. Garrett, normally I've enjoyed the conversation already. We normally do different things with our guests, but you got a lot of fan questions that were very funny. And I tried to organize them into some sort of flow, but it was like impossible. So I've picked out a few of them. Raine and I are gonna shout out a few of them back and forth.
They're all at me. Let's hear it.
You can answer these guys. All right, Raine, take it away with question number 1.
All right, I'll go first. Well, this question is from Aaron's number 2. What souvenirs did you bring back from Singapore?
Oh, actually, I got some. Okay, I got a couple stuff right here.
Oh,
I got some Singapore coins.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I got like a Singapore dollar, and then actually, I got this from my family that I ended up like eating myself.
As this always happens.
I got Japanese Kit Kats.
What?
Oh, nice.
Wait, are those like matcha?
It's green tea, matcha.
Oh, Raine loves her matcha. What? Send some over.
Yeah, these are good too. And then I got the other Japanese candy that I'm not quite sure.
More matcha. Raine, he's throwing it in your face.
Yeah, this matcha. And other than that, like Singapore dollar, and then another souvenir was a win. So.
Sweet. I like how you threw that in.
The one that money can't buy.
Yeah. Raine's too shy to ask. Knowing that you were coming on this podcast, did you bring her back a Hello Kitty? Because she only has a couple.
I didn't see those. Honestly, I don't even think I recall seeing Hello Kitties there while I was at the store.
All
I'm
right, all
sorry.
right.
Next
All
time,
right.
though. Next time
It's
I go,
okay.
I'll bring you back. For
And I do want to say, because hey, we said this prior to the podcast, but in your background, again, come watch the video version of the podcast. But in your background, you've got the 2 posters from the 2 events you fought at.
Yeah.
And very cool, what you told us, which I've never heard before, is that every fighter gets 3 copies of the poster, 1 with all the signatures and 2 plain.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
To my friend Brian Bam Bam Barbarena, I want one of your posters. You must have thousands. I want a goddamn poster, Brian. Second question. This is from @SunnyChan307. Was there? I like this one. Was there lots of promotion for Road to UFC Asia while you were there?
I mean, like, nope. What do you mean, like promotion? Like,
let's put it
just
this
kinda
way,
how it
Garrett.
was.
There is nothing ever in North America about Road to UFC
No.
Asia.
Oh, okay. So you mean like poster or like okay,
like was there anything like
yeah.
a poster, a sign, anything? No. The answer is no, Garrett.
No, I'm gonna say no. But social media wise, since my location was in Singapore, I did get more of it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, because I think that's all location based. I got that, and then also like they had because they were the next day, Road to UFC.
That's
And
what
so
I need.
Yeah, so they had like all of the like their workout room and all that stuff was next to our workout area, our training room. But yeah, other than that, it was just mostly social media, which like again location based. I saw that. I didn't see any posters or any commercials, but social media advertisement.
It's very strange, Garrett, because it was on the next day. You think that they would have at least mentioned it at least once on the broadcast, but they never talk about this tournament that's going on. So, anyways, Raine, next question.
All right, this one's from Zach Lindman. Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
1 horse-sized duck or 100? I mean, is it all at the same time or are there waves?
No, you get 100 coming at you, man. No, there's no waves here.
I mean, it could be an octagon.
I would take the horse-sized freaking horse-sized duck and then put a saddle on that. Yeah, and like break them.
You think so? I don't know, man.
I know so.
Yeah.
I know so.
Oh, right.
It'd be like one of those like like one of those vehicles that can go on water and on land.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, like a Final Fantasy kind of thing, right? like a some sort of mode of transportation.
It's should be my homie. Save some gas money.
All right. Here's a question, all due respect, because I understand that you do have a girlfriend, but this question is from the strongest dork. Does being a UFC fighter get you more chicks?
Does being a UFC fighter get you more chicks?
Careful.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. No. They do not. No, do not. No.
All right. Are you winking a lot in the camera? I can't tell.
Right? I mean, like I don't know. I mean, like sometimes there'll be like girls in your DMs and stuff, and like especially like the big thing is like girls that like you like grew up with or like known you since high school. They'll be like the ones that like didn't mess with you in the past. Now they're like, oh hey, what's up? Like, what you doing? And I'm like, not you.
Damn, cold, Garrett, cold.
Yeah, nice. So it's mostly like the ones from the past, not like the newer ones.
Okay, all right. Good question, good answer. Raine, what do you got?
All right, next one is from EV Love. Does Sean Strickland have a greater chance of beating Israel Adesanya or becoming the president of the United States?
Oh, man. I think they're saying that because, like, obviously it's very hard task for him to climb. So it's like a rhetorical question, I guess, in a way. Mm-hmm. But I would say, honestly, like, I'm kind of rooting for Sean Strickland just because I want to see just like the havoc that it brings to the UFC. I like drama and I like the underdogs. So I kind of want to see him win. I don't think he will, but it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see what happens, especially like the UFC just put Adesanya on their cover.
Yeah, of UFC 5, the video game, right?
Yeah, UFC 5, like the bonus edition or whatever. So I mean, that would kind of be like a bomb in their plans. But no, I would say probably neither to both.
Now, here's the thing. I'm rooting for Sean as well. I think he can get it done, although I'm really not happy, Garrett. Just before we started this podcast, I think it was his coach posted something or was quoted in an interview of saying, Sean has to do, this is Sean's coach. He says, Sean has to do everything right, and Izzy has to do a few things wrong for us to get the win. I'm like, that's not super great confidence. I mean,
No,
but I want Sean to win, man.
But he said there's a way to win.
Yeah. There is.
There's a way to win.
Yeah, and the odds are really good, Raine. So if you want to make some good money, bet the farm on Sean, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you either lose it all or go rich or get dry trying, or die. What is it? Get rich or die trying?
Yeah.
50-cent movie. I don't know.
Die in poverty. Next question. Okay, this one. You are in the bantamweight division, which I was just arguing with people online, as I always do, Garrett. I was arguing with people because someone was saying bantamweight's not a great division, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. This person must be insane. To me, bantamweight is always one of the most exciting divisions forever. But a question that, again, this was the strongest dork, but I picked this question because I like this one as well. Who is the bantamweight GOAT, aside from yourself, Garrett, which we know that's going to be the answer in a few years? Yeah. Dominic Cruz or Aljamain Sterling?
I mean, like, Aljamain Sterling.
What? Really?
Yeah, Aljamain Sterling. Yeah, wow. I mean, like, yeah. I just think, like, skill-wise, like, Dominic Cruz is very talented and he's a good fighter, but I wouldn't say that he was the GOAT. For sure not. I think there's other people that ahead of him that could be the GOAT rather than him. Like, I think even TJ Dillashaw did a lot of steroids and all that stuff. I think he even places higher than Dominic Cruz.
Okay, Garrett, steroids takes you out of the conversation immediately. You're gone.
Throwing it, I'm keeping it in the conversation still.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, all right. That's a good one.
No, like who was it before TJ Dillashaw?
Barao? No.
Oh, is that yeah, true. That doesn't count. No. That's another one steroid. Like not be able to use USADA to kind of ruin his career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's between those two. I'm gonna have to say Aljamain Sterling though, just because Aljamain Sterling faced like tougher competition, and and he had the ability to finish fights, which Dominic Cruz didn't really.
There you go. That is what I appreciate about you, Garrett, is that you finish fights. I do like that. You have like an 80-90% finish rate, which is fantastic. So
yes,
keep that up, my friend.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Raine, next one.
That's a good segue to the last question from match number 1. Who's next?
Oh, who's next? Man, I have no clue. Because I'm gonna let my manager decide that. Kind of like you don't get to pick in the UFC, not at my level. They bring you a matchup and they say yes, or you're gonna get a tougher matchup if you say no. Yeah. So the answer is always yes. Yeah. It's pretty tough negotiations, but it doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter where it is or when it is. I'm going to come out and put on a show.
That's damn straight. And it's going to be this year. You're hoping. I heard in some other interviews you were hoping to get one in before the end of the year.
Shooting for December. Yeah. So my management came up to me right after the fight because Jason House, he was in my corner, my agent, and he's like, "So man, he's like, great job." He's like, "When do you want to get back in there?" November, December, and I want to get on December card. I think they have a show at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. I don't want to fight in the Apex. Hopefully, I did enough to not fight in the Apex. But if I have to, that's fine with me. I'll still be able to go out there and do what I do. Yeah. So looking at, I think it's like December 18th or so.
Nice. Good. That's a nice Christmas present for all of us, that we will be able to watch you fight again and kick some ass. So that's good.
Yeah, I was wanting to get one in before the holidays, so I could kind of celebrate the holidays.
Exactly. Good, man. I'm excited for you. I think that's going to be good. I did want to ask, and I don't want this to be weird, but did you feel in any way that they were looking for you to lose by putting you up against an Asian in Singapore? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Sometimes I get the feeling like sometimes they're sending some people to kind of lose for people that they might want to push at the time in the venue, and then you just ruined everything if that's the case.
I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
No.
No, I think obviously they want to have Asian fighters versus like non-Asian fighters, so the fans can root for one way or the other.
Oh,
But
I see. Okay.
yeah, I think it was more so like just like getting the crowd excited. I want to say they definitely did not bring me in to lose. And if that was their plan, then their plan backfired.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was
Mm.
so happy when I saw you in there. But you're right. Yeah, I guess it was like an Asian against a non. Even this weekend, we've got a lot of like Australian fighters fighting non-Australian fighters, right? So
Yeah,
on the
and then
card.
UFC
So
Paris was all European fighters versus European fighters. I think it's kind of shoots. You got to think the card was aired on their time zone and their time frame, and so like they're gonna tune in if they see more Asian fighters.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Makes
No, I
sense.
was so happy for you, man. Your fight was incredible. Before we let you go, Raine, is there anything? I'm going to ask my favorite final question, but is there anything that you would like to ask Mr. Garrett?
Yeah, I have 2 questions for you.
Let's
The
hear it.
first one would be during your fight against Kazama, the announcers kept saying it's just a matter of time that you're sensing a finish. Did you actually feel that? Did you feel that it was just a matter of time for you to end that fight? Because you finished it in like what, 4 minutes and 16 seconds of by
Yes.
TKO.
Yeah. I've like no, because I never feel like I have like a weird perception. It's like I'm like the type that like if I could hit somebody 100 times and get hit once, and I'll be like, damn it, I got hit. And so like during the fight, I never think about how I'm doing, like if I'm killing it or not. I just kind of go on autopilot and I just go fight. And like now that like I'm getting more experience, the biggest thing for me is seeing the damage on their face. That's how I know that I'm getting better. I'm doing a decent job because I've had fights. One was in CFFC where I destroyed this dude, like 10-7'd him in the first round, almost finished him. And then he actually ended up submitting me in the second round. Unfortunately, he came back. His name's Mateo Vogel. He just fought on Contender Series. Um, but during that fight, I remember seeing the damage I was putting on his face, and that was like the main thing. But at the same time, like felt like I was losing because I got taken down once, and so I was like in such like a hurry. That was ended up being my downfall for the fight. But for this one, no, I just kind of keep like level headed, and I stayed way more calm this time. So I didn't try to like hunt for the finish. Definitely when I told him to stand up and he didn't stand up, that's when I knew I had it in the
Yeah.
bag. But I like kept it the same because if I feel like the finish is coming, then I try to force it, and if I force it, that's when I crowd myself and I don't perform well.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like what you said after the fight, though. You said I hit like a truck because
Yeah.
I think you were looking at the announcers and you said that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I told him that in the interview, the pre-fight interview. I was like, I'm fast, I'm accurate, and I hit like a damn truck. And they're like,
That's
yeah,
There
I
you
awesome.
walked
go.
up, and that's the first thing I said to them. They're like, yeah, you do.
That's awesome. And then you said earlier that you're a bartender by night, I guess. I mean, I'd like to say by day, like UFC fighter by night, but technically you bartend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
At
at
night,
night.
fight
Yeah.
during the day. Yeah.
But then again, like being a UFC fighter, I guess it's technically by night too. But anyway, how do you
All
balance
day.
that? Because you have like your day job and then your dream job, right? Because you get to do
Yeah.
both. But how do you balance?
Yeah. How do I balance that? Well, I only work a couple days a week, and it's a really low-key bar where it's closed by like 11 o'clock most nights.
Mm.
But I balance it because it just makes me want it so much more. I feel like I remember whenever I was waiting tables in Florida, like my biggest thing was that my feet would hurt Monday morning because I just worked 30 hours over the weekend, and feeling that I was like, because like we would jump rope, and I remember jump roping was always the hardest for me because my feet ached,
Mm.
and then it made me grind even like harder. Like it put myself above the people that didn't work or the people that like didn't work at all. They just trained, and I'm like, I'm gonna outwork you outside the gym, and I'll outwork you inside the gym as well. And so that was like a big thing for me, is that like I was so proud of like being able to do both, and like because I've been doing it for years. And so like now that like fighting is a little bit more financially secure, I don't have to work as much, but I still enjoy it. It's a huge networking opportunity for me. I met a lot of great people. Like I met a guy through there that I got to take a tour of the MLS team in Kansas City, and now I get to go like so now I get to go hang out in one of their box seats here in a couple weeks.
Oh, very
And
nice.
so it's like a great way to network people, meet people. Like I'll give people my Instagram nonstop, so it builds my fan base. And it helps me get better at answering questions fighting related, because I get about 30 times a day. People think I'm like joking that like I get asked about my cauliflower ears all the time because I got it in both ears. I
Mm.
shit you not, it's probably about 20 times a night people ask me about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people have no filter.
Nice. And a good segue into that, Garrett, I have your Instagram handle scrolling along the bottom. So for those listening on audio only, it's at Garrett Armfield 135, as he
Thank you.
is
Appreciate
the
that.
bantamweight to watch. So make sure you do go follow him, give him lots of love and support. Garrett, we always shout out our friends of the podcast as you have fights in the future and stuff like that. So we'll always keep people apprised as to what's
Yeah,
happening
please
with
do.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course. And before I ask you my final question, Garrett, is there anything that you wanted to say to the fans, viewers, and listeners of the podcast?
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that supported me along this way. Thank you to my friends, my family. Follow me on social media. Shout out to all my sponsors. I really feel like I'm gonna be able to bring a lot of excitement to the bantamweight division. So I'm excited to put on shows for the fans. And guys, please come in, reshare, tweet this video, do everything to get the word out.
Yeah, man. Like, I love getting to know you because I've seen you in other interviews, and when I was researching about you, like, I'd look at some other interviews, but I feel like here we've learned a lot about you.
Mhm.
I really
Yeah.
like you, man. You're such a great personable guy. My final question
Thank
to
you.
you, before we let you go, Garrett, the final question to you is something I ask everybody that's coming on the podcast now. It's a question that my mom used to ask me like my whole life growing up. Garrett, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
10.
Oh.
10. Yes, 10.
And would you like to expand a little bit upon why that is so?
Yeah, because like this has always been my dream. And so like I said, when I got signed to UFC, it was a 10. Like I straight up cried in my hotel room before I went down to the Apex Arena. Like it's just like tears of happiness. Like I made it. Like all those nights where I was like, again, with work, so exhausted, like being broke. Whereas like I went to school and I got a degree and I'm not even using it, and I got like all these like student loans to pay back and all of this stuff, and like I see my friends like buying houses and like getting these nice cars and doing all these things with like whatever they studied and whatnot. And like I was like, no, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. I know it will be. Like, just like keep going, and it'll pay off. And it, like not even like financially, but like just being so proud of that I never gave up, and like see my parents proud and see my family proud. That was like a big thing with getting to the UFC. And then I hadn't fought in a year, and I had a couple fights pull through, and I was like, shit, like how like I'm here, and like the hardest thing is staying in the UFC. Like I just like you don't know until you know how the fight's gonna go. And then like I said, I've always been like confident in my abilities as a fighter, but I just never had the platform or opportunity to show the world who I am. And so like the fact that I was able to like go accomplish that, and now it's like I like kind of changed the trajectory of my career. Like I went out there and performed extremely well, and now like people like know more who I am, and like the UFC is going to respect me a lot more. And so that's why I'm like just like completely happy that like this is a dream I've had since I was a kid, and I don't have to use a backup plan. I can do this, and like it just like brings me complete happiness to be able to do that. Yeah.
It's beautiful, Garrett. Raine, you're smiling
you,
ear to ear. Like it's such a nice thing to hear, right?
No, it's a nice. It's so nice to see people achieve their dreams. Because
Thank
there's
you.
always
Yeah.
going to be obstacles, challenges, but if you don't give up, when you don't give up, you make it there.
Oh, it's you just don't ever give up. You eventually make it. Like again, this getting to the UFC was harder than anything I could have ever imagined. Being 18 years old, way harder, way more many obstacles, and especially with COVID and everything and losing fights. Oh wow, it was like the hardest thing I've ever accomplished, and I think that just makes it so much more sweeter. That's
right. I thought when you said you'd achieved all your goals, I thought you meant getting onto the Fight Insight podcast, but that's. I mean, I won't.
That was up there.
Is it close?
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, and my next goal is to put back on the show too. So
well, hey, Garrett, you are always welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. I've kept you much longer than I had told you.
Oh, it's all right. Sorry, I can ramble sometimes.
No, it's good, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You're an absolute gentleman. You're a killer fighter in the cage, man. You are a real guy that people need to watch out for. I know that not everybody always watches the prelims. I tell people they're stupid. Like, watch the prelims. That's where the action happens. Garrett, you are the man to watch, my friend. So congratulations. Good luck in Hogwarts Legacy. I hope that it downloads for you.
Still hasn't downloaded, so I gotta get that.
No, you still got a few gigs to go. All right, man. We will talk to you later. Have a good
Yeah,
one.
thank you guys so much. Have a great
Thank
one.
you so much, Garrett. Have a good one.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye. See ya.
What a good guy.
Yeah.
What a great guy, man. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And
Yeah,
we
he
got
was
to
on.
meet his cat, Bear.
We got to meet Bear, who is very,
We got
very
to the
cute.
Bear Cave.
Yeah, it was Bear Cave. Yeah, that was adorable. Raine, let's see what is going on. I do want to say next week on the podcast. So if you're here because of Garrett, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for if his girlfriend is watching, I'm very sorry that someone asked that question. Very inappropriate, but it was good to know. Next week on the podcast. So if you are here for Garrett, thank you. Follow, subscribe, do all that. Like, we have great guests every week. Next week, Raine, it is a very different podcast, I think, that is going to happen. I did confirm it today. There is a girl out in Mexico City. She's a fighter. Her name is Maria Favela. I saw her maybe a couple years ago. She was fighting in Calgary at some event, and she was kicking ass in Palace Athena. And I was like, this is a girl to watch. And following her on Instagram, seeing, because I know this girl's going to make it, she ends up getting cancer, and she shares it online that she's going through cancer. And then she keeps up with the Instagram stories, and like, she's going through the chemo and everything's going crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, and so I'm kind of following her now, thinking like, oh, I want to, give her support when she's sending out these messages, because she's really being open and honest online. And then I'm watching a fight, and Sean Strickland, who we're talking about today and who's fighting this weekend, in his last fight, he wins, and then he goes on the interview after, and first thing he says is, I want to give a shout out to my teammate who's battling right now, Maria. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that she trained it. Then I see her training, and now she's gone through the chemo. She is cancer free. I think she's got a few more sessions, but she's going to come on the podcast next week and talk about her whole journey and everything that's going on. And I saw her last week. She was in UFC Paris. She went to Paris to help corner a girl. So like, it looks like her life is on the up and up, and she just seems like such a positive person. So I'm very excited to have her on the podcast this week or next week.
Wow. I'd love to have that chance to talk to her too.
Well, you are invited, Raine. I'm really excited. And she's someone that I've been following, and I just think like, it's really cool, what she's been doing. And you think like all the people that she's probably inspiring and motivating on her social media. So very excited. Next week, Maria Favela is coming on. And she also trains with Sadibou C, who's another former guest of the podcast. And I saw her taking some photos with him. So it's kind of cool how small this world is, Raine.
Yeah.
Friends of the podcast update, do want to give a shout out to rageworksnetwork.com. So we're there. We tell you all the time, their audio podcast network, rageworksnetwork.com. Go check them out for podcasts like ours and other podcasts that are amazing. So go check them out. This is very weird. Friend of the podcast, he's been on a few times, Smilin' Sam Alvey. He unfortunately is kind of not best known, but he's unfortunately known for losing quite a lot in the UFC, but they never cut him, Raine. He kept losing, and they kind of just kept him on. And he was finally released by the UFC. He then goes into some other promotion and wins a fight right away. So congratulations to him. I'm so happy. But he is now fighting at Karate Combat on September 16th. Now, Raine, I see that you're not giving me too much reaction here, but I don't know that Smilin' Sam has ever kicked. He's a very punch-heavy fighter. So it's very strange to me that he's in Karate Combat, but God damn it, Sam, I love you, and I hope that you go kick some ass. Literally kick some ass. Literally do it, man. But for those that don't know, Smilin' Sam is fighting in Karate Combat September 16th. I've never watched a Karate Combat event, but I may have to watch this one because I will be very interested to see what happens. Last Friends of the Podcast update. You may know her. Ringside Raine announced the whole show at UNF on September 2nd.
Yeah, that was September 2nd. Yes, this past Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, that was my very first pro MMA show. So
right, because you were doing the amateur shows for UNF, but then this one was Amis and pros.
Amis, and then we had the pros too.
And you did it all.
Like 12 fights. And then we also had Killer Cam. He's like the youngest ring announcer in the world. And he announced our main event. And then, but yeah, it's amazing. was very, very happy after the show because, in my head at first, I was like, okay, I've never done a pro show. And then the other part was a lot of fights. I don't know if I'm going to have voice still. I don't know if I'm going to have my voice after the show, or going towards the end of the show. But no, everything went well. The fans love the energy. I mean, the fighters, I saw them feeling my vibe, and it's really cool when they feel the energy of when I'm announcing their names, because that, tells me that I'm, getting the job done.
Yeah, and you were kicking ass. I was following along. Like, unfortunately, I was out that night, but I was kept checking my phone. I'm looking at the Instagram stories, and I'm seeing Up Next Fighting posting you announcing, and then every time they would show a clip of like a winner be called, there you were. Very, very cool. So there was also something very exciting that happened because it was the very first female fight.
Yes.
For Up Next Fighting. So what happened there?
Oh my God. We had our first female bout between Brittany Victoria and Autumn Norton.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because Ashley Evans Smith was also there, and she was part of the play-by-play or analysis during this fight. And so I remember after the fight, Ashley had requested for all of us to take a picture, and that was such a really nice moment because we had a female ring announcer, and in our first female fight, and then there's a picture.
There it is. The photo is there.
Ashley too, who was a commentator for that fight. So it was very, very special for all of us.
No, that's awesome. It was amazing. Ashley Evans Smith, one of my favorites. She was on this podcast. Probably one of the best podcasts we ever did in our early days. Like, she was one of the coolest guests that we ever got. She's such a good person. But yeah, that was so amazing to see you three.
I know.
And can I say, you're killing it in the Up Next Fighting blue colored jacket.
Oh, thank you.
Very smart of you to kind of color coordinate with Up Next Fighting. That was on purpose?
No, actually, I've had that jacket for like years.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna edit this out. And you need to answer differently. Okay, right. So Raine, you color coordinated that jacket with Up Next Fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. No, it looked good. Now, it was not shiny or sparkly though.
No, but so like I don't know if you noticed, but I have like a little butterfly brooch.
A brooch or something.
Brooch, I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah I have. Oh, you can't see it here. But I'll share it on my social media. But I have that butterfly thing on my jacket, and I actually bought a few, and then now I'm going to start putting it on my jacket every time I do a show. So if I'm not wearing something sparkly, I'm going to have my butterfly with me.
Something. Okay. Nice. Very cool. Can I say that this is the winner of the fight that was on that photo, Autumn? She has agreed to come on the podcast, Raine.
What?
I reached out to her and I said, what the hell? You're the first girl to ever fight in UNF. You're the first winner. You got a photo there with my good friend Ringside Raine. I said, can you come on the podcast one day? She goes, of course. So Raine, yeah. Oh. So you must have made a good impression because she didn't say, no, not with that girl. So that's good. But the whole night went well. Everything was good there at Up Next Fight. It looked crazy. Like, geez Louise. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really great show. Everyone enjoyed it, and it's always a good time when I'm with my Up Next family. It's such a family atmosphere there that you just enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's what makes the show really good, because everyone is just having fun. And then you see the fights, and the fights are all good too.
Yeah, no, the fights look amazing. Like, it's crazy. So very happy. Do we know when you will be next with Up Next Fighting? Is there anything planned? Do you know?
No, not yet. I don't want, but as soon as I find out, I will let you guys know.
All right. Last time you didn't tell us until like a week before. So, keep us up to date. People want to know.
I forgot.
Yeah, there was a guy that started following us and has been talking to me actually a little bit. I don't know what he does for Up Next Fighting. Dusty the Rapper?
Oh, Dusty. Yeah.
Okay, this guy has 4.3 million followers. So shout out to Dusty the Rapper. But yeah, he was liking a bunch of our stuff. And then I reached out to him. I said, hey, man, you're there. He said he does something for them. He does advertising, promotion, and marketing or something. Do you know?
Well, I see him a lot, and I've met him
at the events.
I've seen him at the events. So, and he's, it seems like he knows like everyone. And then I got to meet him. He's so nice. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, he might be watching this podcast, so shout out to Dusty.
Hi, Dusty.
How's it going, my friend? Yeah, no, very cool. All right. Well, I'm very happy for you. The event looked amazing. Everything looked very cool. So congratulations to you. It looks like it went very, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you get to meet Ice-T?
No.
He was there in the backstage, I saw.
No, that's like a different event, I think.
Oh, was it okay. They were
Unless
showing
it
a clip
was,
from
I'm
something
not
else.
sure, to be honest with you, because I
okay.
wasn't like in that area, but I don't think it's from that same event.
You must have been busy hobnobbing with other special.
I was probably like in the ring.
Okay, sure. Let's see. What else do we got going on today? There's a few things I wanted to talk about. Sean Strickland, kind of related. We were goofing because we said, is he going to become president of the United States? Because he's been doing a ton of media, Raine, like a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just tell you something? Unlike our guest next week, who's using social media for a very positive cause and like probably her own mental health, but as well as to kind of help others and inspire others, I do have a problem a lot when people start to go on social media a lot. Normally, it's females who start to do a lot of bootylicious photos, like, right? A lot of bikini stuff and things like that. And I have noticed, I do put like a few bucks here and there on fights. I will bet against girls that are doing that a lot because I always think like, well, technically they do lose a lot. And I always think like, maybe they're not so focused. Maybe they're a little bit thinking about other stuff. They're trying to transition into other stuff a little bit, and it seems like it takes their attention away. Mm-hmm. Sean Strickland is on social media a lot, way more than he ever did, doing videos, which I'm sure you're not filming them in one take. Like it probably takes a while. Like he's doing all these fancy videos with like him, with wearing shirts saying Sean for president, and he's doing all these like cutting all these promos. Raine, how much do you think this is going to impact his ability to win the fight this weekend?
Probably a lot, because I feel like if you're losing your your focus on like what you're really supposed to do, then I don't think you're going to get the job done. Not just like for him, but like for everyone. Like it's the same. It's like I feel like if you lose your sight on the prize, it's like, oh, okay, somebody else is going to take that prize from you.
Yeah, and like people will say like, oh, well, you can only train so much in a day. You can only eat healthy so much in a day. Like there's obviously downtime that he can be doing this stuff, but I don't know. I run this stupid little podcast, Raine. It is 135 episodes deep. And my wife will often say, like, how much time this is taking up in my life. Like, it's not as easy as, 1 hour of recording and then posting it. There's a lot that goes into it, booking all the guests and doing all this and planning out the schedules and blah, 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 right? Working with co-hosts that are so difficult, such as yourself. Right?
Yeah.
But it's a lot. So I would think that if Sean Strickland is busy putting out all these posts and stuff like that, somehow it's mentally taking up space that he's doing this stuff. And I just wish he would stop doing it. Like, because it always seems too that he's got like a lot of planned jokes, like that things kind of come off a little bit planned or whatever. So I'm like, how much are you planning this? Like, I need you focused, man. You're like, it's really good odds if you bet on Sean. So I'm betting on him because I need to make money. So I need him focused. But have you ever, I know you're kind of new to MMA and stuff like that, but have you ever noticed that? Like, do you question people when they're posting a lot and like excessively posting? Have you noticed that a bit?
I mean, I've noticed people doing that, but
you got to look to see if they win after. That's the kicker.
Yeah. And because like to me, it could be because they know they have an upcoming fight and they're trying to promote themselves.
Yeah.
That could be it too. So maybe, I don't know if he's trying to go to the influencer route too, because he's probably seeing that there are some influencers that are like actually getting the spotlight too. In the fight scene. So but he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do it. He's a real fighter.
I know. And that's the thing too. Like, we'll hear young fighters and they've come on this podcast saying like, well, hey, the more social media influence I have, or the more social media followers I have, promoters will like that and they'll sign me for more fights, or they'll blah, 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 right? Because they know that I'm going to bring with me an audience. But kind of once you're there, once you're fighting for the world championship in the UFC, I wonder how much stuff you need to do, unless it's like to do an ad for something, like unless you're holding up your bottle of Prime and, you know, drinking it and trying to get money off the endorsement, that's different. But when it's just like comedy skits.
Is that what you're just trying to do right now? Trying to get
promotion? Me? Yeah, Prime. I would like some money. I'm drinking this stuff. Honestly, I hated this stuff when I first started drinking it, but now it's like kind of like grown on me. It's pretty bad. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like Sean doing it, but we will see what happens. For people that are going to say, what the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking about? I can name out a few. Marina Moroz, Itsuki Hirata, Taylor Starling. Those are three that come to mind that we're doing a lot of, you know, not OnlyFans stuff, but or I think they do maybe, but like that kind of like borderline nudity stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot. And then I'm always wondering, like, why do you do this? Like, what? They don't get money when you post on Instagram, right? Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure, unless that is kind of like their ad for people to subscribe, you know, to
something else. That
that could be it. Because like, I don't know if they have other jobs aside from like, you know, what, you know,
God knows. Yeah.
I don't know. But like, you know, you got to pay the bills. So, but
we could go down that road a lot, Raine, because I don't know about that. But in terms of like, I'm not so keen on the girls doing that for money. But sticking to Sean Strickland, he fights this weekend. So if you're hearing this is going to be on the Thursday. You know, on that Saturday, he's fighting for the title against Israel Adesanya. Just a quick topic we'll touch on. If Sean Strickland wins, Israel Adesanya will have lost 2 in his last 3. He lost to Alex Pereira, then he won the title back, then he would lose to Sean again. If Israel Adesanya loses, there's no way I feel like he should get an immediate rematch for the title. He'll have lost 2 of his last 3. I don't care how dominant he was before that. What do you think, Ringside Raine? You know, you come from the world of wrestling, professional wrestling too. I hated always seeing the same matchups all the time.
Yeah. You know, I think you got to give somebody else a shot.
Yeah.
And at this point, if he can't like get the job done, you know, then, you know, let somebody else try.
Yeah, and I don't care whether he loses like in a flash knockout. I don't care whether he gets murdered the whole time, and I don't care whether it's really close. Frankly, I don't even care that it's a robbery split decision or something. If he loses, you've lost 2 out of 3. I don't think you get a rematch. Let's get some new blood in there. Let's see some other fights.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's fair that he continually
tries to get a rematch or a fight.
Yeah. And then that way you're always headlining the pay-per-view. You're always making the big money. The other way I look at it is we talk about fighters and we want more fighters to make more money. Well, then stop giving this guy the headlining spot. Yeah. Like, I get that he deserves it because of who he is, but like, look, if you've lost 2 of your 3, let someone else take it for a bit. Yeah. Let's see where the division goes, you know? Yeah, that's all I would say. What else do we have? Anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I know. I'm excited for our next guest.
Yeah.
Let me know when we're going to talk to her so I can.
Oh, yes, I will book it. I will book it with you right after we're done this. I did want to say one last thing. I know we're running right down on time. I did want to give a shout out to friend of the podcast, former guest of the podcast, Judge Mike Bell. You may know him as referee Mike Bell.
Yes. He
was a ref at Up Next Fighting. I messaged him. I said, hey, Raine is my new co-host. And he was like, she's amazing. He was singing your praises. So I did want to publicly say that. He says that you are kicking ass. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Yeah, now we follow each other on Instagram too. And it's really nice when you get to meet people, you know, at events and you learn from them. And I always appreciate when I get to double check, you know, the results of the fight with the refs, because that's like my last
okay,
you know, my last step before I actually say, okay, this is the official, you know, winner, whatever. but like they're very patient with me, like Mike Bell and Chris Leben. Actually, I think that was his first professional MMA as a referee too. That's his professional first show as a professional. I'm screwing this up. That was his first.
But why was he doing?
MMA show as a referee? There you go. Because I think he was doing the amateurs.
Oh, okay, yes, because I've seen him. Now, for those that don't know, because you got to kind of be old like me to know who Chris Leben is. Maybe he's one of the OG fighters in the UFC. He was in Ultimate Fighter Season 1. He was the bad boy of the Ultimate Fighter show, Raine. This guy was insane, the Crippler Chris Leben, and went on to have an incredible career in the UFC, fought some amazing fights. Is he a maniac in real life?
A maniac? No, he was really, really nice.
Was he flipping tables, throwing people through? Because he did that on the show. Like, he's crazy. He's a good guy?
No. He's a very good guy. Yep. Yeah. He didn't do that there. No. I just remember my husband, he said, oh, that's Chris Leben. I was like, yeah, he's the ref. How do you know the ref?
What, are you following refs? Yeah, what's going on?
But no, congratulations to him too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys following each other on Instagram? Did you become friends?
I just follow him on Instagram. I don't know if he had followed me back, but I don't expect a follow back anyway. But no, I'm just saying, like, it's really
social media etiquette, Raine. Like, the hell, Chris Leben. Let's get Chris Leben on the podcast. I would love to have that dude on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike Bell, Chris Leben, and Rafael Davis. Those are the three refs from our last fight. They're amazing, and all the refs that I've worked with, they're all amazing. But yeah, it's really nice when you meet new people and then they tell you, hey, great job, and I really like your style, la 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 la. And because I'm new in the MMA scene, and
yeah, it is hard to get feedback, I'll tell you, right? Because you never know whether people are just blowing smoke, right, or whether they're truly being genuine and honest with you, right?
Yeah.
So you want feedback, but yeah, I'll tell you, Raine, people would have no reason to say anything nice about you to me. You know what I mean? Like, so if someone is out there saying Raine's kicking ass, Raine's doing a good job, to me, that's got to be honest feedback. So, you know what I mean? I would think so for sure. Because otherwise they would just go, oh, that's cool, Raine's your co-host. Like, why would
that is true? They're not. Yeah. No, same thing with Mike Bell. When we message each other on Instagram, like he didn't have to tell me that I did a great job, but he did. So that was very nice of him. So
yeah. And as we try to spread positivity in this world, look, if you've got something nice to say about people, go tell them.
Go tell them.
Like, take the opportunity to say something nice to people, because it changes their day, maybe changes their lives. Who knows? But be a good person, help people out. That's what we want, right? That will be the focus of next week's podcast as well, with Maria, which I'm very excited for. Raine, that is all for today. The whole day, I don't know if you could hear, but my cat Evie was sitting here snoring next to me. She's quite quiet, but I can hear her little snores.
No, I didn't hear her.
So I keep looking down. All right, so that's it for the podcast. If you're listening on audio only, we will end it here. But on video, I will put up a couple of videos here that you can click to take a look at some of our other great episodes. Aside from that, next week we will be back with Maria Favela, with some other great topics. Sean Strickland may be champion and president of the United States. We don't know what's going to happen, Raine, but thank you so much for joining. It's been great. And again, congratulations on your Up Next fighting.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.